was off the table in my interview with Hecker. We covered everything from laws broken to how life in federal prison can change a man. Is Denny Hecker a new man after losing everything and spending 7.5 years behind bars? Here's part one of my interview. You decide. Denny, a decade ago, you had luxury homes, planes, fancy cars, boats, Rolexes, a family, really more money than most people could ever imagine. A man who seemingly would be on top of the world. Is it safe to say that federal prison is humbling?
Well, it's really humbling. I mean, I think that really gives you a perspective to look at life different. I don't think anybody watching today appreciates the value of freedom until it's taken away.
That freedom ended for Denny Hecker in 2011. The auto mogul, bigger than life in social circles and ads, sent to federal prison for bank and bankruptcy fraud. It was the end of a lavish lifestyle for the man with humble beginnings as a 19-year-old used car salesman from North Minneapolis who would eventually employ hundreds. When the auto empire collapsed, the mistakes, the breaking of the law left a lot of people in the lurch. Good people, employees of yours, and you had a lot of employees. A lot of people blamed your ego and blamed greed. Is that fair? And what would you say to them?
It's funny about the people. I've been friended by, or people have contacted me, several previous employees wish me well. When are you going to go to work? What are you going to do? Can we come be with you? So there's a lot of people out there that know the real Denny. The situation that happened. I did admit guilty to one count of fraud, bankruptcy, and to bank fraud. It's a lesson I've learned. But at the end of the day, going forward's got some good highlights. The lowlights for Hecker came to a head in 2008. A faltering economy, a more than $700 million loan called in by Chrysler Corp., the loss of other credit lines, dealerships shuttered, and Hecker's multi-million-dollar a month income was drying up. Denny Hecker was $800 million in debt and filing for bankruptcy. You're a smart guy. The most common question asked of me over the last decade by people that knew you was, how could a man who was on top of the world be so dumb? I got trapped in a deal where I was outsmarted. The circumstances were more difficult than I was. So I wouldn't say so dumb, bad choices, a lot of good choices, but bad choices. Bad decisions, and not having any break with the economy didn't help at all. Was it a house of cards at times? Well, house of cards, never. House of cards in 2008, late 2007, I was in over my head. I had no good way to figure out how to keep it going until I got it sold. So years of work, and oftentimes people say, well, this lavish lifestyle. For years, I made lots of money, Randy, and I gave lots of money away. So if anybody feels that this one decision caused a lot of pain and suffering for a lot of people, my kids, my family, me, it's just stuff. I want to go back 15 years or so. You were a pitchman for your dealerships. We saw you on television, radio, buses, billboards. You were everywhere. You were an iconic business figure in this state. Now you're Denny Hecker, an ex-con. Does any of that previous life appeal to you? Do you aspire to any of that? Do I miss the limelight? No. I mean, when I'm out, and frequently people come up and say, welcome back, nice to see you. Can we call you? What can we do? Does that surprise you? No, it doesn't. I was at Basilica party the other night, and I had more people. I felt like I was at the bus stop. The people I were with came by and said, how's it going? Move me out this corner. I need a new corner. So it's fun. But in the world I come from, Randy, you know that I was involved in the community. So for all the people watching, when you're thinking about making a decision, make a rational decision and think of the consequences. Because at the time I didn't. Was it an ego? At the time it was ego. It was unknowing what to do, feeling overwhelmed. And when you've never failed at anything, it's pretty hard. So it was not the right choice. The circumstances weren't good, but I'll live to serve another day, and things are pretty good.
So what is next for Denny Hecker? Well, tomorrow night in part 2 of my interview, we find out if the man who'd been selling cars to Minnesotans since he was 19 years old will be back at it again. And what about the mysterious nature of Hecker's many moves from prison to prison? Those answers tomorrow night at 9 and 10 right here on Fox 9.